Anies Baswedan, Ganjar Pranowo, Prabowo. Kontestasi pemilu tahun depan pasti ketat banget. Tapi siapapun pilihan lo, tahun 2024 Boston Celtics pasti juara. Preview Atlantic Division, divisinya Boston Celtics di Box Out. What up, what up? You're now watching the most pro Boston Celtics basketball podcast in Indonesia. Sampai tamu gue hari ini, my good friend Paul Palele, pakai baju hijau.
What up,
entah sengaja atau enggak. So hari ini kita mau preview ya.
First of all, kalau gue tahu intronya kayak gitu, gue gak pakai baju hijau sih. I did not know we were doing a video form of the podcast. Jadi disclaimer duluan, I would have put on a little makeup. But yeah, no, I didn't know you were so pro green.
Well, not exactly. Well, kalau pro green sebenarnya iya ya, because green kan itu warna beberapa tim.
Oke.
Boleh. Cuman I like to keep my guests in the dark sekarang, mumpung video. So I never tell. Intronya apa, Paul?
Ini natural reaction nih, gue kaget. Alright, so no Celtics bashing today. Okay, I'll take my Lakers hat off.
Okay, anyway, kita mau ngebahas Atlantic Division. Ini lagi-lagi bagian dari kita bikin episode preview NBA. Satu episode, satu division. Kali ini ada Paul, because his favorite team is in this division.
Absolutely.
Walaupun kita nggak tahu nasibnya gimana, but let's start with the Boston Celtics. Gua recap singkat aja. Last season recordnya second in the East, 57-25. Obviously, ke Conference Finals, hampir comeback. Tapi akhirnya the Boston Celtics, being the Boston Celtics waktu itu, ujung-ujungnya kalah. Kalau kita lihat perubahan rostersnya, yang cukup banyak dibahas adalah Kristaps Porzingis, itu masuk dari free agency. And the big trade, dapetin Jrue Holiday yang tadinya di Bucks melalui Portland Trail Blazers. But at what cost? Karena Marcus Smart ke Grizzlies, kemudian Grant Williams ke Mavericks, Time Lord Robert Williams III itu ke Portland bersama juga dengan the Sixth Man of the Year, Malcolm Brogdon. So, banyak sih actually kalau gue dengerin podcast NBA di luar yang bilang this is Boston's year. Setelah that trade Jrue Holiday, odds mereka di Las Vegas itu dari tadinya mungkin yang kedua difavoritkan atau yang ketiga itu menjadi yang pertama atau sedikit di bawah yang pertama. I think terakhir ngecek itu Bucks, a lot of disrespect to the Nuggets kelihatannya di Las Vegas. But again, is it time? Waktunya banner ke-18 diusung. Gelar juara ke-18 buat Boston Celtics. Where are you with this team and their projections, Paul?
Never. No, I'm just kidding. Look, awalnya pas when all the trades happened, the whirlwind of trades yang terakhir-terakhir ini ya, I think their chances are pretty good. Gue biasanya nggak nonton game preseason, tapi kemarin gue iseng-iseng aja nonton yang pas lawan Sixers, just to see, karena the worry is depth kan. I mean, let's face it. Kalau lihat roster yang mereka ada sekarang sangat mengerikan. They have arguably the best defensive tandem backcourt right now. I mean, we all know Derek White, amazing defender, underrated defender. Terus ditambah dengan Jrue Holiday, who can defend many positions juga. So we don't have to worry about defense, I think. I mean, Kristaps Porzingis, gue pernah dengar gue lupa di podcast mana, dia udah gak bisa disebut unicorn. He's just a very special horse. Jadi I have to give credit. I don't know who to give credit to, but that's hilarious for me. Yes, but nggak tahu ya, mungkin ada efek FIBA. Gue melihat Kristaps Porzingis beberapa kali duduk cuma berapa meter dari gue karena dia.
Sebentar gue balik. Yeah. Kristaps Porzingis dengerin musik yang lo mainkan di Indonesia, Paul.
Main.
Iya.
Kepalanya gini.
Iya, he was bouncing. He was bopping.
Karena lagi menang ya. But I don't know if it's just seeing him got me excited about seeing him on the court in action and with a new team. But I'm excited dengan lineup yang ini. I just thought lineup terakhir tuh udah mulai kayak bukan hanya mentok tapi stale aja. They weren't playing for each other anymore. Kayak it wasn't that it factor yang nggak ada di statistik, yang nggak ada yang sebenarnya sometimes you saw it in Toronto when pas pemain-pemain mulai kayak males main untuk Nick Nurse. So he had to go. Same thing was happening with the Boston Celtics. The writing was on the wall. I think a lot of blame itu disalahinnya ke Joe Mazzulla, but I think that this core had to change. And I thought it was a great change. Cuman concernnya adalah depth. I don't know, and by watching the two preseason games yang gue udah nonton, I don't know who is going to round out this roster. Masih belum jelas. Tapi yang pastinya they have a lot of guys. They have a lot of guys that can fill that roster out. But I think the main core of the roster, they're going to be really good. To answer your question, will they win the title? You gotta get past the Bucks first, man.
Oke. Gue tuh sebenarnya kalau ada yang nonton podcast sebelumnya, gue sama Abi is hot on the Celtics. Gue sedikit lebih on the Bucks. Okay. Gitu, but I want to try to make the case for the Celtics, okay? Maksudnya gini, obviously, I think lo sepakat nggak kalau gue bilang Celtics sama Bucks itu di tier sendiri di East? Itu dulu.
Yes.
Itu dulu. Oke. So when we're talking about one of them, pasti ada komparasi dengan yang satunya lagi. Benar. Now,
mau bahas duo.
Kalau ngomongin best duo, rasanya susah untuk mendebatkan bahwa Giannis and Dame are the best duo, at least in the East.
Setuju.
Maybe you can make the case di NBA lah ya, kalau ngelihat their stats and all that gitu. But if you were to construct a team to stop Dame, then I would say the Celtics team will be top of the list.
Yes.
I mean kita semua ingat lah, mungkin Dame bukan pemain yang sama dengan 4 atau 5 tahun yang lalu, Paul. But kita ingat what Jrue Holiday did to him in the playoffs. Bener-bener, you just go to YouTube, lo lihat highlightsnya, headline-nya penuh exaggerasi, but he made life a living hell like no one lah. Kalau buat Dame.
Bener.
Now kalau misalnya Jrue-nya kecapean, there's Derek White.
That's right. All game long, he's gonna be hounded.
Yes. Bener. And secondly, gue banyak melihat nih ya. Again, gue lagi melawan my own arguments over here, Paul. So try to go against the Celtics over here. You'll do the Celtics bashing.
Devil's advocate. Boleh.
Yes. Okay. So now I am the Boston advocate, the Celtic, the Irish advocate. Yeah. Okay lah. Let's just say depth-nya agak tipis. Let's just say height-nya agak tipis ya. Kan Robert Williams nggak ada. So who's stopping Giannis? Apakah Al Horford is what, 37, 38, udah tua? Kristaps Porzingis is good as a help defender, but kita belum melihat ketika dia harus menghadapi Giannis, especially in a one-on-one situation. Gue ngeliat there was, I think, one match last season. Again, Porzingis main di Wizards, but I think Giannis dropped like 55 on him. So, but with all that being said, gue merasa what the Boston Celtics are doing selama ini, okay, build a wall. Grant Williams is good against Giannis, but this team is built to say, okay, Giannis, we'll try to slow him down. Mungkin susah, but can everybody else around him beat us? Itu yang gue nggak yakin, dan gue juga nggak yakin, ya mewakili Abi, bahwa Bucks tuh punya senjata yang bagus untuk mematikan Jason Tatum, who did have a great game in the playoff series against them 2 tahun yang lalu, and Jaylen Brown if he does, improve. So, gue ngerasa this team is well equipped untuk melemahkan Celtics outside of Giannis. Now, what's your take on that?
First of all, jangan pernah count out revenge factor ya. Now, I do believe that kayak who's the big three? Coba gue tanya dulu balik lagi ke lo. Dari Boston Celtics sekarang big three-nya siapa? Does Porzingis make the big three atau Jrue Holiday make the big three?
You know what? In terms of gini, kalau misalnya gue lagi mempertimbangkan kemungkinan impact di playoff and the matchups, I'm gonna say the big three is gonna be Tatum, Brown, sama Holiday. Holiday on the other side of the pitch. And that is a great situation with Porzingis.
I agree.
Because now he has to be the fourth option. Dan nih ini mungkin gue kedengeran, gue jadi malah bela Celtics sekarang ini ya. This is not something I planned actually. Gue kira lo yang bakal ngebela Celtics, Paul.
But that was my point. My point is that because I would gue juga he's a champion. Gue harus masukin dia ke big three-nya. If you have him as a big three and Porzingis is automatically your fourth best player, there's your argument that there's already a stronger lineup, especially on the front end. Kita nggak tahu lah back endnya seperti apa nanti. Tapi ngomongin front end, ya Milwaukee Bucks, who's your third best player? You have Chris Middleton, obviously, right? And who knows how well he's going to play.
And Brook Lopez, obviously.
Brook Lopez is your fourth player. I'll take the Boston Celtics.
Oh, so now you're flipping.
If this is how the argument goes. Kalau suruh gue belain Celtics.
Okay. What I was gonna say adalah, I think in a pick and roll situation this time, Jrue Holiday tidak akan se-effektif itu lawan Dame. And you want it, and now even if you try, I mean gini, Giannis, you have to respect him, right? Even if you have lo defense yang gak sebagus itu gitu, he's gonna have more space with Dame, and Dame is gonna have more space with Giannis. Dan satu faktor nih ya, kalau misalnya swing faktornya buat Celtics for me is Porzingis sih bakal main di level apa ya? I'm curious to know Chris Middleton tuh akan main di level apa, because kalau kita kembali ke series di tahun 2022, the big factor in that 7-game series actually was absensinya Middleton.
Okay.
Because then you don't have that secondary. Itu memaksa Holiday buat jadi second option. So, but I think either way, Paul, this is a really tight one.
Ada satu lagi.
Apa nih?
Faktor kepelatihan. So biasanya kalau ada tim yang pengen ya lagi goyang nih. So you get rid of the coach, right? So you know I'm definitely not a big Budenholzer fan. I never was, never will be.
Hey, gotcha.
So that's the change, right? You make the coaching change, you keep the core intact. Mereka juga udah mulai berumur tapi udah experienced. What they did was they did two big things that you could do to a team in the immediate untuk bisa improve your chances of winning a championship. Yaitu mereka ganti head coachnya, plus mereka nambah piece baru yang sangat penting. So if you want to take a look at the bench, yaitu head coachnya, I'm an Adrian Griffith guy, obviously, because I'm a Raptors guy. So kalau dari sisi kepelatihan,
interesting.
Yeah, I'll give it to the Bucks.
So you give it to Griffin di atas Mazzulla ya?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Itu satu part yang gue gak seyakin itu sebenarnya. I think simply because tergantung Griffin itu bisa menghadirkan diversifikasi ke offense dan defense-nya nggak? Will they be, kan oke lah. As much as gue pro Budenholzer di tahun 2021, memang ada ada sedikit rigidness kali ya. Dalam artian defense selalu seperti itu, offense selalu seperti itu, right? Nah kalau dia bisa ngasih bumbu yang beda gitu ya, hari Senin mungkin menu makanan yang berbeda sedikit, they try to diversify it, then I think itu will greatly increase chance-nya Bucks. But with Mazzulla, gue sebenarnya I saw his interview yang sama JJ Redick ya. Ya, dan sama halnya kayak again pelatih bagi gue nih cukup menarik karena I'm not sure kalaupun ada bedanya it's light and day. Karena yang gue suka sebenarnya dari Bucks adalah you have Terry Stotts jadi asistennya. So that will help integrasinya si Dame. But di sisi lain Joe Mazzulla I think it was Sam Cassell kan yang pindah ke situ kalau nggak salah ya. Ke Celtics. But I think he'll have more help ya. Yeah. I forgot. Gue mungkin kebalik. Gue lupa apakah Sam Cassell itu ke Sixers apa Sixers ke Celtics. Gue lupa. Kalau gue salah tolong dikoreksi.
Leave it in the comments.
Ya, tolong ya. But I think having a 1 year of experience will help him gitu. He was doing stuff on the fly.
He made the mistakes. Jadi hopefully
dia udah tahu lah obviously dan terlihat dia cukup punya keyakinan dengan timnya. I mean if dari sudut pandang apa yang bisa dia katakan ke publik, gue tidak melihat banyak yang salah. He did mention some stuff about timeouts though. Kan dia kan di playoff kan kayak gue bukan tipikal yang, dan itu yang cukup banyak disalahin. But I think harusnya with one full season udah lebih paham timnya. You know, one full season udah terpisah dari Ime Udoka juga. I think it's his team now and hopefully his ideas bisa lebih diimplementasikan dengan matang sih.
Bener sih, soalnya timing is it means a lot juga. Like for example, Adrian Griffin was groomed for many years and now he's hired. Kalau Mazzulla kan rada dicemplungin aja gitu.
Straight in the fire.
He had to learn how to swim and he made some mistakes which was understandable. I'm more in the I have to see Joe Mazzulla prove himself in the Celtics system aja sih.
In the postseason.
These players in the postseason. Yes, obviously many success in the
Take a bit of time. Ini sekarang kita geser ke sebuah tim yang setiap pramusim tuh selalu ini kayaknya akan jadi tahun di mana mereka nih tembus ya. But I think expectations are pretty low for this team because ada satu pemainnya yang ingin mencari strip club di kota lain ya, bukan di Philadelphia. We're talking about the Sixers. Now, ini sebenarnya pertanyaannya domino effect nih ya. Ini kan agak goyah nih sebelum kita. Let me just read you the records obviously. Third in the East, 54-28. The MVP di NBA, Joel Embiid di tim mereka. Lagi-lagi mentok di conference semifinals. Kali ini tidak ada alasan pemain yang empty basket, empty ring menolak buat layup. Key additions-nya, your ex-coach, Toronto Raptors, Nick Nurse, Pat Bev, Kelly Oubre, Tsunami Papi, Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba ini titipannya Joel Embiid nih kalau gue lihat dari media. Ini adek gue nih di bawah nih gitu. Key subtractions-nya pelatih ganti udah bukan Doc Rivers. Georges Niang, salah satu pemain dengan badan paling om-om di NBA udah pindah ke Cavaliers. Dan ini di briefnya Abi nulis James Harden's Trust. Udah gak ada di Sixers. So, ini mungkin agak jumping pertanyaannya ya. Tapi at the end of the season, akankah Joel Embiid meninggalkan Sixers layaknya dia meninggalkan Kamerun?
That's a teaser, isn't it? That's an Easter egg. Yeah, there's a big chance kalau if they don't do well in this postseason and they crash out early, there's a big chance. Of course, I can see him in a Miami Heat jersey. That would be great.
And udah ada, you kind of get that feeling each time dia. How many times dia tuh kalah lawan Heat di playoffs? Gue lupa. I think kan ada sekali tuh yang dia sama Harden. You always feel that he has a good kind of relationship sama Jimmy Butler. Kayak
I always felt that.
Kayak lumayan merasa nih abang sama adik tau gak sih lu?
Even like kayak bercandaan mereka, cara mereka ini nyindir juga sebenarnya nggak nyindir amat gitu kan. There's a bond di situ sejak Jimmy Butler was there, and I think someone like Embiid craves or needs the discipline of a team like the Miami Heat.
Right.
Nggak bisa terlalu dikasih free reign juga.
Yeah.
Gitu.
Then he's already like berapa kali kan di akhir playoff tahun lalu tuh, I think he was showing shade kan, nggak bisa nih kalau dua pemain gitu kan, dan itu sebenarnya semakin menurunkan stok dia ya dibandingin who he's usually compared to ya, obviously. But mungkin gini deh, let's start with the Harden question first ya.
Okay.
Right, James Harden obviously wants out ya. Ini bahkan menurut gue perseteruan dia dengan Daryl Morey ini sudah geopolitik ya. As we know, Daryl Morey kan pro Hong Kong dan dia agak blowback, and James Harden went to China and said that Daryl Morey is a liar. Kayak levelnya tuh udah segeopolitik itulah permusuhannya.
I repeat, dia ngomong 2 kali.
2 kali.
Jadi just in case handphone lo belum nyala, lo mesti sempat nyalain dulu rekam gitu kan. Ya diulang 2 kali.
So udah tukang bohong, ini musuh negara gitu, right? But the thing is, dia nih udah bilang dan mungkin dia tuh lebih obvious daripada demo ke Heat gitu. I wanna go to the Clippers right now gitu. Dan it seems feasible, but do you think that trade to the Clippers will eventually happen? Ngelihat kontraknya Harden dan apa yang bisa ditukar guling buat dia.
Okay, I'm not a numbers guy. It's too bad Abby's not here to do a quick
the
work
cap space and all that. Yeah.
But I think he needs to move. Obviously, kayak it seems to me, even setelah melihat klip dia komen kayak gitu di summer campnya itu, and then he basically, it's basically what is it called? Irreconcilable
differences, alasan cerai kan biasanya. Irreconcilable differences.
Yes, correct. Thank you very much. Jadi differences ini kayaknya udah nggak mungkin, hubungan ini nggak bisa diselamatkan lagi. I just think they need to get out early because they have not even seen a minute on the court together in preseason. They don't plan to. Terus gimana? What do you expect them to suddenly tiba-tiba first game of the season keluarin mereka berdua lagi dengan line-up-nya tanpa 3-point shooting sekarang di 76ers. I mean, they lost a lot of 3-point shooting.
Will we see James Harden's fat suit this time around?
I think he's gonna come up with something new. I'm very excited. Gue seneng banget. Ini dia akan punya trik apa lagi nih. But obviously he's not gonna play for the Sixers. I don't know. To me it seems obvious that he's not gonna play.
Sixers without Harden though. I mean, dengan ngomongin addition yang tadi masuk, mereka tuh kalau ranking East lo dengan tim yang kayak gini ada di mana? Like sebuah tim dengan Joel Embiid harusnya on paper tuh akan lumayan bagus ya.
Yeah.
And obviously Tyrese Maxey harus step up. He can, but dengan pieces yang di sekitarnya, like where do you put them lah? Obviously bukan di tier yang sama dengan Heat dengan Celtics sama Bucks, but like 1 to 8, lo akan naruh mereka di mana?
I think we need to stop judging players on bukan skill mereka yang seingat kita di peak performance-nya plus nilai kontraknya. Because contracts are always going to get bigger and bigger. Tapi skills going to get better and better until it starts getting worse. Harden is not Houston Harden anymore. I mean, he hasn't been Houston Harden for a while. Dia pernah ada spurts juga di Brooklyn. I've seen those same spurts, but less the Sixers. Why are we still, if I was the Sixers management, why are we still, unless it's that difficult to find a place to dump him karena kontraknya segitu gede. Why are we still talking about Harden like he's this, top 10 player in the league? Because right now he's not for me. Jadi menurut gue, cut your losses, send him to LA or wherever he wants to go, because I think you owe him that. Soalnya kan deal-dealnya kayak gini, we know about these backdoor deals all the time. So when a player calls it out, it means you really renege. Berarti lo bener-bener lo rada brengsek lah.
Udah sebel banget ya.
Lo udah janji, ayo dong. I mean, be a man. Sometimes you do a handshake, and that's a deal's a deal. Jadi kalau dia berani untuk call Daryl Morey out like that, berarti kalau dia akan ditanya, emang dia ngomongnya apa, dia bohongnya apa, pasti dia berani untuk ceritain dong, even if it's off camera. So obviously he feels that he was wronged, and I believe him. For some reason I believe him. Gue percaya sih, kayak dia kayak udah pasrah aja deh, lo yang ngibul juga. Kalau dia berani untuk bongkar semuanya, so cut your losses, get whatever you can get for him. You still have
I mean, to your point, cut your losses ya. Emang kalau situasi win itu udah agak susah. It's just gimana caranya lo bisa loss sekecil banget gitu. Loss sekecil apa sih gitu loh. Dan I think the longer you protract it, value dia akan semakin turun dengan dia nggak main.
Agree.
Dan emang ini kenyataannya juga kayaknya nih, mungkin Daryl Morey is like, bisa nggak ya dia can I get a good deal for him? Masih kayak gitu loh.
Karena dia bisnis banget kan, he's a numbers guy.
Cuma kenyataannya ketika ada sebuah, let's not talk about apakah, let's just say skillnya nggak decline sekalipun ya Paul.
Okay.
Ketika dia udah punya reputasi maksa buat pindah kayak gini, itu udah red flag yang gede buat tim-tim lain, kecuali tim yang dia bilang gue mau sama lu gitu loh.
Bener.
Dan di tim yang mau pun juga you're taking
Until
him
he doesn't.
with the risk. Nah, right? I mean kalau kayak kemarin I think I was watching si acaranya itu apa Certified Smoke, right? And all of them, Paul Pierce, KG, Matt Barnes semua bilang ini James Harden nih at this point reputasi dia, he's gonna be the biggest quitter in the history of NBA gitu. So if somebody wants to quit, siapa lagi coba?
I think you're right.
Kayak siapa lagi nih yang kasusnya nih ingin memaksa cabut. So you just flat out quit gitu. And I don't think in terms of sikap mental that's something yang juicy ya buat GM manapun. So but this team deh outside of Harden. Back to the point, like where do you project? Ini tim tuh ada di mana sih dengan kumpulan role player ini gitu loh.
They're 3 steps down where they
di bawah Cavaliers nggak? Itu aja deh kalau gue. Di bawah Cavs nggak?
Di tier yang sama menurut gue.
Yang sama.
Cavaliers have certainly caught up. They were already closing the gap banget musim lalu, and with this Harden drama and Tobias gone. I think they're on the same tier.
Oke, kalau menurut gue ya, if Harden ini cepat keluar ya.
Okay, let me call it now.
Gimana?
Cleveland Cavaliers probably finished with a better regular season record than the Sixers.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the Cavaliers were good last year.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Nih gue agak mikir 2 kali because you said regular season.
I said regular season.
That's
regular season.
Regular season with the in-season tournament yang belum kita bahas pun, dan gue terlalu malas buat ngulik gitu ya. Kita belum tahu kemungkinan apa yang bakal terjadi. I will say this, itu bisa aja possible buat gue because I think if si Harden ini nggak di trade, that's gonna create a distraction yang bisa jadi akan filter ke di dalam lapangan. But at some point kalau dia udah nggak ada, I think Sixers bisa aja go on a run, and I think Nick Nurse is gonna, sort of rejig, membuat mereka nggak sekaku main di bawah Doc Rivers.
You can get the best out of
right,
that.
Right. Dengan apalagi ini at the moment it's satu bintang dengan role players.
Yeah.
So I think ada banyak pieces. They need more shooting obviously for spacing, right?
Dan lo tahu Nick Nurse berani kan nyoba-nyoba ini.
Iya, yang aneh-aneh gitu. And I think this nurse. I think Nick Nurse is gonna nurse them to make them
back to health.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, maybe he's gonna nurse Joel Embiid's back or something gitu. Cuman I think this akan sedikit unexpected, and I can see them actually regular season bisa aja sama atau lebih baik daripada Cavs, but I would still take them in a playoff series.
I will take them in a playoff
Cavs
series.
gitu. Ngelihat bagaimana Baker staff itu di outcoach sama
it's always it's the case of the overachiever versus the underachiever.
Yeah.
Right? Who puts who where then? How much did you underachieve and how much will you overachieve? Yeah. And it's these kind of preseason shows, it's so hard, man.
For sure.
Kita kan semua base ini semua dari musim lalu gitu kan.
Yeah, and preseason they're just playing 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Right? Main line-upnya.
It's hard, man. We're going to be wrong on 70% of this.
For sure. It's just about making the cases aja lah. Yeah. Are we convincing now or not? Gitu.
Benar.
Akhirnya setelah 25 menit podcast ini berjalan, kalau berdasarkan off cam ya, I'm gonna talk about your team. The Toronto Raptors ya. Ini kayaknya semenjak juara nih, mungkin ini tahun dimana ekspektasi lo paling rendah, But the headline for this one is Toronto Raptors musim lalu 9th in the East. I thought they were gonna make the playoffs, tapi kalah di ayam Miami nama Zach LaVine di Toronto. Rekornya 500 persis 41-41 kalau di play-in tournament. Key additionsnya pelatihnya berubah. You got a European coach yang udah lama malang melintang di NBA. Darko. You got the best name. Nama terbaik di draft yang melahirkan banyak jokes om-om. Grady Dick. You got the FIBA World Cup MVP Dennis Schroeder. Jalen McDaniels ya. A decent size defender. Walaupun mungkin kayaknya bentukan pemain yang kayak gitu banyak di Toronto. Pelatihnya ganti dan Fred VanVleet. Bintang kalian sudah tidak ada.
Fred.
So now you have Siakam, you still got OG ya yang selalu jadi bahan diskusi trade. Tapi kalau ngeliat kayak gini situasinya, perlu gak sih tulang belulang fosilnya Toronto Raptors itu dibongkar ulang? Jadi di dinosaurus lain mungkin, gue gak tahu. Jadi T-Rex kali itu.
I like what I saw so far.
Preseason?
Yes.
Oh, you've been watching the preseason game?
A little bit. Gue jadi colongan, kan gue ada siaran juga, gue pasang lah di picture in picture. I like what I've seen so far. I think first of all, Jakob Poeltl itu lumayan kunci ya. Darko, we've seen him develop big men into better big men. Steven Adams did well under him. Was it Triple J? It was under him as well.
Pasti Memphis ya, Grizzlies
yes. Jadi menurut gue Raptors ini dengan Jakob Poeltl 2.0 udah balik lagi ke Toronto ini, they need a lot from him, I think, and I think they expect a lot from him. Sebenarnya gue rada kecewa waktu Jakob Poeltl went to San Antonio awalnya. DeMar DeRozan, I just loved having him on the court karena he always had good energy. He was also always getting the loose ball. He was that guy, and then we let go of him. So I'm like, not only did we lose DeRozan, we lost Poeltl as well. So we got him back. Then I like what we saw in him so far. I think dia lumayan kunci. Grady Dick, what a great addition. Holy smokes.
What a great dick.
Top of the D, man. Top of the dick. The best dick that I've seen in the league. Well, yes, he's probably the only one. Except for Richard Jefferson. So, yeah, I'm totally serious about Grady Dick. I like what I see so far. Dia belum umur 21 ya?
Ya masih muda.
I think he's 20 if I'm not mistaken. He looks confident. He looks like he's willing to take the shot.
Has a good choice of suit eh?
I love his fashion style. And I'm awalnya the Fred VanVleet cloud itu was cast over the entire season last year. I'm glad that was settled. Sad to see him go, but also not that sad. Karena at the same time, I love Dennis Schroeder on this team. Dennis Schroeder and again, kita nggak pernah tahu ya. A lot of times, apa yang terjadi di FIBA nggak tentu translate ke NBA juga. But I'm going to assume that he's still riding a high of winning his country the World Cup, dan dia akan penuh dengan semangat main di Toronto, and he can be that leader. You know, I always read about how Scottie Barnes is supposed to have a playmaking role, but he can't be the lead playmaker yet, can he? Kayak dia membutuhkan seorang veteran. For example, Chris Paul would have been great, like to come in and just show him the playmaking duties, get him used to. Karena Scottie Barnes is a great passer. Everyone always says Scottie Barnes is a great passer. Why did he take such a dip last year? Is because, well, it happens a lot. You when you have a rookie of the year, you're always going to have that slump. So what do you expect this time around? You want that Julius Randle effect kan, yang dia, hey, he has a rebound back from that bad season. I'm expecting him to have a better season. But in order for him to do that, he has to take over more of the playmaking duties for the Raptors' sake. And in order for him to do that, I think Dennis Schroeder will play a big part in the development of Scottie Barnes being more of a playmaker in his role. So OG and Pascal, just stay. Jangan ada gue gak expect mereka ada kenaikan level pun gak apa-apa deh. Yang penting jangan ada penurunan. Because when we saw Pascal Siakam take the dip, we saw the entire Raptors team take a hard hit. So hopefully they can improve, at least maintain what they did last year.
Tapi gini Paul, I'm gonna ask you about the elephant or the Cameroonian lion in the room. Pascal Siakam harus di Lego gak? I mean, yang menarik kan juga, I don't know if this was a shade to Siakam atau enggak ya. Masai Ujiri itu di media day-nya terdengar agak menyalahkan pemain. I don't know exactly who he was referring to. Was it misalnya VanVleet cabut misalnya, atau Siakam, atau bahkan OG, I don't know gitu. But do you think keberadaan Siakam right now is a good thing for this team atau enggak going forward dengan pelatih yang baru, dengan lo bilang Schroeder masuk lo harapkan mungkin dia jadi leadernya malah kan? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Or help to be the leader to develop Scotty Barnes, not necessarily Pascal. I mean, I think he's going to fit fine with Pascal, sama OG and the rest of the crew. Tapi dia juga bisa help to develop Scotty Barnes playing that point forward position. Tapi at the same time, I think we need to give this a chance. Kayak you bring in Darko, lo nggak perlu let go. It's not like we were the Milwaukee Bucks where expectations were sky high dan lo harus rombak semuanya. Lo udah cukup rombak di head coach. You brought in somebody who could develop the players that you brought in. Why don't we give it a chance first? Sebelum kita, because we already lost Van Vliet. This is the whole problem. That whole championship squad, it's not working. It's like the Boston Celtics yang kita bahas tadi gitu. This formation of the team was great a few years ago, but changes need to be made. But you don't have to make wholesale changes. Karena we were already basically near the bottom of the pile anyway.
Iya, gue tuh sebenarnya kalau soal ini ya, I think I was listening to the Ringer NBA show ya, and they were talking about the Raptors gitu. This goes down to Masai. Obviously Masai dengan dia bisa bawa gelar juara pertama ke Raptors, still itu masih 4 tahun yang lalu. He's by far still one of the best executives. Lo bisa bawa gelar juara ke Kanada tuh udah titik gitu loh ya. Yeah. And after making actually keputusan yang cukup banyak reaksi waktu kan Dwayne Casey diganti sama Nick Nurse gitu. But there was a point made about dia tuh nggak berani nge-blow up timnya just yet because it's not because the season yang dia juara actually, but because the season after that yang di the bubble, you guys actually went pretty far ya. Bahkan gue ingat itu sempat it was like a chess match between Brad Stevens waktu itu sama Nick Nurse. It was very tight dan I think Raptors, gue lupa, I think it was 7 games, it was ketat banget gitu. Nah itu jadi sebuah pengalaman yang membuat Masai Ujiri itu sebenarnya jadi nggak terlalu cepat pingin.
Karena outcome hasil yang dilakukan oleh Raptors tahun di musim setelah Kawhi Leonard udah cabut, right? Jadi dia merasa kayak core ini masih ada. That's fading fast for me anyway. Kayak menurut gue sih, okay, you gave it a chance, we overexceeded expectation dan ekspektasi musim itu juga sangat rendah karena Toronto was one of the we were so far away, we had no home base. Kita home base-nya di Florida. Waktu
bubble-nya ya.
Right, for the bubble season, right? I mean, expectations were so low for that season. I remember the Raptors reading the Raptors news pas pandemi kayak they were.
Oh, enggak, itu setelah bubble ding. I think that was
the season after the bubble.
After.
Yeah, that was the lowest point season.
That was just a bad season.
It was a horrible season.
Yang nggak masuk playoff gitu.
Yes.
But do you think Jacob Poeltl is gonna turn into the second coming of Domantas Sabonis? Jadi playmaker dari Abu. Tapi kayaknya dari preseason itu yang banyak dibahas adalah Raptors tuh tim yang assist rate tuh jelek banget. I think they were bottom lah, 26 or 25th gitu. Well, Darko is a European coach. Mungkin ini sedikit stereotypical. The ball was moving.
Improved a little bit in preseason. Ada tuh. Jadi that's what I mean. Kayak why don't we work with the same pieces? Because there's still good pieces, but give it one shot. Jangan lo rombak. If you got rid of Fred VanVleet, we don't need to get rid of Pascal Siakam just yet. If this was a problem of that unit working together, now in my eyes, ini bukan unit baru, but it's a refreshed unit, and we need to give it a shot.
Yeah, I think the key word here Raptors is you guys have time. The expectations of time itu bukan right
udah
now.
Udah terburu-buru, benar.
Right, so it's let the process show what the next course of action should be. I think that's where we are.
Well said.
With all that being said, where do you think the Raptors akan end up tahun ini?
I think we're going to be at the bottom of the top 8.
Okay, jadi play in.
I think we're going to be in the play-in once again, but I think this time we're going to make it through. I think we're going to get knocked out in the first round by Giannis and the Bucks.
Kalau menurut gue, I think to your point ya, terlepas dari hasilnya, I think what's going to be telling soal bagaimana the Raptors are viewed is how they play. Evolusi yang terjadi dari gaya mainnya tuh bakal terlihat mulus nggak? Will you be seeing the building blocks or a blueprint of something yang mungkin workable ke depannya? So I think that's probably yang again lo yang fans Raptors bukan gue.
Yeah,
but I think that will actually menentukan how you feel about it than the actual where they finish.
You are absolutely right. A 500 season, not all 500 seasons are the same.
For sure.
I remember last year kayak even waktu Raptors menang, kayak artikel yang gue baca bahasnya negatif-negatifnya semua gitu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just think that there's a new outlook this season that there's a lot of takeaways. Akan ada learning experience, akan ada development of Grady Dick. Kayak there's a lot of these things that the takeaways-nya akan lebih baik, lebih positif. We can finish with the same regular season record. I don't care. As long as we have a better outlook in the future. Last season outlook-nya bleak banget sih. Kayak siapa nih yang bakal cabut? Apa nih yang bakal berubah? Halfway through the season ini udah mulai obrolannya gitu. Jadi I'm just happier to have a more positive season.
Ya, udah gak jenuh lah. Nah, ngomong-ngomong soal ekspektasi nih, like where's the team, apakah middling atau enggak? Let's talk about the New York Knicks.
Ooh.
Tim yang gue paling gak suka lah. I just don't like this franchise. Udah gak perlu jelasin lagi. Last season recordnya 5th in the East, 47-35. Masuk conference semifinals. I think buat sebagian orang itu sedikit di atas ekspektasi. I think banyak juga yang ngira mungkin Cavs with just the top end talent bahkan menang, but they got out coach. Shout out to Tom Tibbs. Key additions-nya, ini New York Knicks sudah seperti ikatan alumni Villanova because Dante DiVincenzo bergabung ya with Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson. Key subtractions-nya Derrick Rose ke Memphis buat jadi mentornya Jamoran, dan Obi Toppin itu ke actually their lottery pick a few seasons ago itu ke Pacers. So this team ini sebenarnya gue gak terlalu ngerasa tim ini berbeda ya. Jadi for me it's like how well will they develop internally. I think this is a playoff team, but I cannot. Gue pengen tahu pendapat lo, ini tim tuh lebih tepat dianggap tim kuda hitam yang bisa bikin persaingan menarik, atau tim playoff semenjana, like tim yang akan in the first round get bounced 7 or 8. Like how high are you on this team, Paul?
Not very high. I think they overachieved last season because partly because Julius Randle's like a basketball. Like he goes up and down every season, and he's due for a bad season this coming year. I don't know. I don't trust Julius Randle just because his track record itu nggak konsisten aja. Consistency isn't his best.
Well, then let me ask you if you trust your fellow countryman RJ Barrett, developmentnya bakal gimana?
I do. Again, sekali lagi, gue juga mikirin hal yang sama, kayak apa yang terjadi di FIBA akan translate nggak? And I think I'm starting to be able to answer this myself. Kayaknya buat pemain-pemain tertentu ada efeknya. For example, Dylan Brooks, I think he's going to have a great season.
But he got ejected. He just got ejected kemarin preseason.
It's preseason. He's up to his old tricks. Tapi I think for RJ Barrett, yeah, I think it's going to help. It's going to help this coming season. Look, masalah yang gue lihat di dia main pas di timnas, he got the ball a lot.
Okay.
He was acting like a leader on the court.
Yeah.
You didn't see that too much on the court when he has the Knicks jersey on. I mean, rightfully so, karena di pecking ordernya mungkin nggak seperti itu. But di timnas kemarin, if it wasn't Shea, it was RJ Barrett, like pretty much, right? It was between the two of them most of the time taking the lead. Semoga sih itu membuat dia ada lebih besar ya kepercayaan dirinya untuk bisa berani untuk hey, I can be one of the big three.
I can knock the big free throws.
Hey, he's pretty clutch from the line. I just think, again, you're right. A lot of the additions and subtractions don't really add up to much. Answernya ujung-ujungnya masih tetap rada mirip ya.
Yeah.
And I think that the East has just gotten so much stronger that it all, when we make these predictions, we talk about the team, but we also have to look at tetangga ini seperti apa. And I think no matter how much or little they improve, the neighbors have improved so immensely that it would likely knock them down a little bit. Probably close 7-8. Probably right there with the Raptors.
Lo malah lebih low lagi.
Maybe.
Interesting. Kalau buat gue sih, the next team they will sort of benefit a bit karena nggak terlalu berubah ya pemain yang masuk. Kayak DiVincenzo juga harusnya tuh seamless lah fitnya. Tapi gue agak ngerasa ya, dan gue katakan ini tanpa suzon ya, this team ceilingnya pun tuh di dalam limbo. Let's just say RJ Barrett jadi jago gitu. Jalen Brunson juga tambah jago gitu ya. And I don't know siapa lagi sih, Julius Randle gitu. Ya dengan tim ini dalam bentuk peaknya pun nggak dengan East yang tadi lo bilang semakin ketat. Gue tidak akan setiap musim bilang okay, dengan versi maxed out dari tim ini they're always gonna be a top 4 team. I'm not sure. Gitu. Jadi menurut gue mereka agak nyangkut, and New York being New York, I think this is sort of like if there's a deal out there to get this big name player entah dari mana in free agency atau trade, mereka akan selalu will be on the lookout to sort of trade and get that gitu. Jadi buat bagi gue New York Knicks nih statusnya nih agak nyangkut gitu. I don't know. In it's complicated lah gitu.
It's tricky with a team yang kita sebutnya sebagai kayak di notes-nya Abi ada apa? Cinderella run.
Cinderella run, yeah,
why do we refer to teams like a Cinderella team? Because we don't think they can do it again, right?
It's like an outlier gitu loh.
Benar. Jadi and we say that like overachieving or Cinderella run. It's because it doesn't look like they can do this again. Prove me wrong. Go ahead, prove me wrong. But I don't know if they're probably I'm going to knock them down a couple of notches like I did with Philadelphia.
Wow.
Yeah. Like so if I knock down Philadelphia, let's say 2 pegs, if I had them in the top of it before, I put them somewhere around 6th. So I'm going to take the New York Knicks down 1 or 2 as well.
Tapi serendah-rendahnya Knicks.
Because I think the Miami Heat is going to do better in the regular season. That's
Lu ngomongin soal bukti-bukti yang udah ada. Satu bukti yang jelas bukan Cinderella is Eric Spoelstra's coaching, man.
Exactly.
Right? Like he is the
They underachieved last regular season.
Mau dibilang dia di playoff, okay, they were shooting 3-point above average. Like the Spoelstra is Heat culture lah. Bagi gue it's not Heat culture. No, it's Spoelstra. He always gets 120% out of random players gitu, and the light's gonna be on. Pemain-pemain yang cabut dari situ bakal kayak apa gitu di tim-tim barunya ketika dapat deal yang lebih bagus. But ngomong-ngomong soal knocking down teams a peg, rasanya lo nggak mungkin naruh Knicks di bawah tim ini sih. Let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh yeah, forgot about them.
Last season record 6 in the East. Yeah, I mean obviously ada tim ini sebelum KD cabut. 45-37, knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. Kalau kita ngomongin key additions-nya, you got Dennis Smith, Lonnie Walker IV, Trendon Watford, Noah Clowney, Derrick Whitehead. Subtractions-nya, Seth Curry, Joe Harris, Patty Mills. They lost a bit of shooting actually. Obviously tapi nggak segila kehilangan mereka di mid-season tahun lalu. And now dari preseason Ben Simmons sudah main lagi. He's not upload video shoot 3-point. Mikal Bridges was pretty good, but apakah tim Brooklyn ini sebenarnya at the end of the day butuh bintang baru? Like they need like a big player because ini timnya sebenarnya isinya pemain-pemain. I mean, unless you still have faith. I made the mistake of having faith in Ben Simmons 1 or 2 seasons ago. Oh ini bakal jadi.
I do it every season. I do it every season. Because I love Ben Simmons. Kayak pemain ukuran kayak gitu, skill set seperti itu, dan he's pretty cool looking dude gitu on the court. Kayak maksudnya lo bisa gayanya bisa enak dilihat gitu. But yeah, always a disappointment. But not this season.
Ooh, here we go.
Not this season. I think the pressure is off. I think he has failed so much that no one's expecting anything from him. And I think that's in the space that he needs to be to rebuild. Look, I love a good success story, man. Gue suka banget kayak pemain atau apapun lah ceritanya, atlet atau seorang yang udah jatuh serendah itu, udah diomongin semua orang. We wish that of like players that we don't want to see people like that fail juga kan. We don't want to crash out of the NBA. So maybe this is it. Yes, they do have to consolidate some of their assets to get one pretty decent star gitu. But we don't need a superstar. I mean,
interesting.
I don't, because I think that whole superstar dipasangin dengan Ben Simmons and then you're gonna have Mikal Bridges. It's going to be too much pressure for him. I think this is the perfect situation for him to start rebuilding his career again. He's still at a decent age where he can do that. Banyak orang yang mesti percaya sama skill set dia, termasuk gue. I think a skill set like his is very valuable. Okay, how many times can you fuck up? Like seriously, udah.
Like so you believe he's still the athletic version of Draymond Green?
I think
lockdown 5-point center.
That's a bit of a stretch. But I think he can be much better than he has shown the last few seasons. Let's just put it that way. And if he can improve halfway through the season sampai bisa menjadi salah satu aset yang bisa dikonsolidasi, why not?
Okay, so I mean ini tim yang punya. But do you think, look, let's just say dia mainnya bagus ya. Menurut lo kolektivitas dari sebuah tim ini kalau semuanya main bagus tuh, is it good enough untuk mencapai hasil, let's just say, masuk playoffs lagi? Ben Simmons, Mikal Bridges, Cam
tough.
Johnson.
They caught everyone by surprise. Mereka tuh kayak tim yang lo nggak expect apa-apa karena drama dengan KD sama Kyrie Irving itu terjadi di mid season. What were you expecting? We were expecting them all to crash and burn after that kan. Tergantung alasannya kenapa mereka bisa sukses setelah itu. Is it because the players felt like, hey, we have something to prove here. Masa kita, we're not scrubs. We can do just as good, if not better, than when we had KD and Kyrie. Or was it because they caught their opponents by surprise? Because ya nggak ada yang tahu juga scouting report ke Brooklyn Nets seperti apa musim lalu. I'm leaning more towards the second, di mana teams weren't really prepared on who they were going to face, and they faced a lot of good, solid, talented players there. They lost a lot of 3-point shooting with Seth Curry and the gang leaving. There's 3 valid, legit 3-point shooters that left, right? That you named. So I think they're going to drop down a peg because, like, kalau dari sisi regular season record, I think they way overachieved last year. Opponents were caught off guard. I think people know a little bit better who they're going to be facing again now, especially their opponents in the East yang akan bertemu 4 kali since they met them in halfway through the last season.
Kalau buat gue sih mungkin ini agak intangible ya, tapi kalau ngeliat rosternya gitu, gue tuh belum bisa ngebayangin like when the going gets tough, lo tuh berpaling sama siapa gitu. I mean, yeah, Mikal Bridges ketika lawan Kanada di FIBA, he was big lah ya, that insane play gitu. But I haven't seen it enough, walaupun he had a good scoring stretch musim lalu tuh. Okay, is he really the go-to guy yet? Apakah lebih ke Ben Simmons obviously enggak? Like
they seem a bit. Gue bukan maksud dari ini ya. Gue bukan maksud dari permainan mereka, skill mereka, but they seem a little soft. I don't like using the word soft, but siapa yang akan take the lead dari sisi ininya, like kayak I'm the leader dari toughness ya. Mikal Bridges has beautiful game. I love his game, but it's a little finesse. Yeah, Ben Simmons a little bit soft.
Dan buat gue sebenarnya maybe it's not exactly soft versus tough, but ini kan tim, okay, this team maybe jangan-jangan bahkan it's Spencer Dinwiddie mungkin ya. Tapi it's more about, okay, this team can play up tempo with Ben Simmons and all that, but when they need to calm down a bit. Nah itu yang gue belum tahu siapanya tuh yang ngelakuin itu. Apakah they can suddenly like ada yang grow up atau gimana gitu. Gue nggak tahu. But I think again ya itu sesuatu yang lebih berpengaruh di playoffs obviously ya, dan kayaknya gue nggak terlalu yakin tim ini bisa masuk juga. But I think that's one weakness yang gue belum bisa ngelihat solusinya dari mana di tim ini.
And they're not gonna catch, like, again, it goes back to my point about catching people off guard. You're catching your opponents off guard. You fast break somebody, you're gonna catch them off guard.
Yeah.
But when you start settling into the longer drudges of the season and they start to figure out your half court plays,
do you have counter moves for that?
Benar,
Gitu loh. Jadi
gue setuju.
Kayaknya kalau ngomongin kartu gitu, kayak kombinasi kartunya nih, kalau lo main capsa atau apa nih, belum ada kayak full house-nya, belum ada polonya. So yeah. Anyway, Paul, that's all the teams the Atlantic Division.
Wow. Atlantic Division isn't that great apart from the Boston Celtics, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit top heavy. Maybe like the team itself gitu. But anyway, thank you for stopping by. Mudah-mudahan dengan kita di YouTube lo bisa lebih sering nongol ya. Dengan jam mumpung lo juga siang.
I live down the street, by the way.
Yes. So mudah-mudahan Paul ini dia menjadi See Today, Box Out Tonight.